The dawn of civilization. Primitive. Dangerous. Exciting. The handwriting is on the wall. If the human race is ever going to amount to anything, it needs
the most civilized caveman I have ever seen.
Look who's come out of his cave.
Hey everyone, this is James from the Cave Dweller Music Podcast. I have my co-host Brendan with me. Today we are joined by Devi Hisgen. He is from the band Teitan, based in Rotterdam. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's really great to talk to you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, anytime. So your project, I guess you'd call it an experimental black metal project. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what that is about musically, what you do in the project, what the goal is there?
Yeah, thanks. I started Titan back in 2008 with a friend of mine. We were teenagers and we just wanted to sound like the extreme Swedish black metal band, like Funeral and Martyr and that kind of stuff. That was like what we saw as like really extreme black metal, like really chaotic sounding. And then we did like a crappy demo, and then we didn't do anything with it. And then I still hang out with this guy, and he's like into hip hop and cars and that kind of stuff. And I still make music, and I started producing at around 2018, I think. So that was like 10 years after we did Titan. And he was like, bro, you should like bring Titan back to life again for your studio thing. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Just like use Titan to record songs so I can practice mixing and studio engineering. So that was like the purpose to start it. And it was also like, yeah, I like psychedelic and experimental music. So I used it to develop my producer skills, but also my songwriter skills. And yeah, I'm like every day I'm further curious to how far I can drive this. Like I want to make quality music, but then experimental, like really experimental.
Right. No, definitely. I think you achieved that for sure.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm already writing for new work, and I'm like, it's going to be like so many steps further even. So yeah, I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how it plays out, because when I heard the album for the first time, I was just like, man, there's no boundaries here. It's like pushing it. There's so much going on, but it all works. It's not feeling forced.
Yeah,
no, thanks.
I'm super picky with my black metal, as we know, and this project, is just the way everything comes together, and your vocal ranges and all that are just so much better. It's not like some dude in a tin can bathroom. Like, you're doing like some really neat stuff.
Yeah, thanks. If I would make stuff that sounded like I recorded it in my bathroom or something, I would sell way more records, though. That's like that's the fucked up thing with black metal. If you see the scene, it's like all the big YouTube channels and all the big artists, they're like really boring stuff, like the 90s stuff over again, like on the most boring fashion.
I've always said that there's a bunch of those. I'm not going to name names because I don't want to start anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a couple of specific ones where it's like, if you submit something to them and it's actually interesting, they say no every time.
I know exactly what channel you're about. Yeah.
And there's a very specific reply that they give every time too. I've even seen memes about it. But
oh, really?
Yeah, I'll send you those. It's yeah, and then if it's like generic second wave worship, then it's automatically approved, basically.
Yeah, word. Yeah, that's true, man. And it's like there's so much nice experimental metal going around these days. It's like, and even if even like from outside the black metal, there's like bands like Sleeptime Gorilla Museum, who are like, if you listen to their stuff from like 2005 or something or older, it's still relevant. It's still, and also in the black metal, there are bands like Doodheimsguard and Orange Pazuzu that really drive it to the limit,
Well, for me, like the biggest standout black metal album for me personally in the last like 10 years was Ash Inspire's Brutal Architecture that they did. I think it was a year before last year. Might have been last year. That was my album of the year when that came out. Have you heard that one?
Nope. The name does ring a bell, but I haven't heard it.
It's black metal, but it's also like right on the fringe of black metal. It's like super jazzy, a ton of jazz instruments. But the vocals are kind of just this guy like angry shouting. And it's just this guy ranting about capitalism basically, but it's really raw and really interesting. And I just unlike anything else I've ever heard, so I loved it.
Sounds great. You should send me a link.
Okay,
Or
it kind
Inspired.
of reminds me a little bit of Akakok in some ways.
Oh, yeah, cool. I've already found it.
Yeah, check that out and let me know what you think. It's not for everyone. Some people I know love it and some people I know hate it. So
I gave them a follow.
great. They're from Scotland. What about you? Anything else stood out to you recently that's been really good?
Ooh, recently. Oh, yeah, I should be ashamed for this, but I discovered Kim Dracula.
Oh, yeah, Kim Dracula. One of our writers loves Kim Dracula.
Yeah, well, I really do love it because it's like all over the place. And I just really love it. It's an easy to listen album. Every time I put it on, it's over within a heartbeat. So yeah, I like that. But it's it's not that popular among my friends.
No, I get that. Brendan, have you heard Kim Dracula?
I don't think so.
Okay,
It's like
well,
six to seven different genres.
yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it has. I think that like because he's also a little bit comedic and
It's campy.
yeah, and that's what like the extreme metalheads they dislike it quickly because it's too flashy and that
But like it's weird because people will say stuff like that, but then they'll listen to King Diamond. But King Diamond is like
yeah.
incredibly campy, which I love
Yeah.
about it. It's like one of the best things about King Diamond.
Yeah, and I think that theatrics is also like a huge part of metal in general.
Yeah, for sure. Over the top, excessive.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Kim Dracula kills that. So, yeah.
Brendan,
Yeah,
what about
and-
you? Anything stood out to you?
To me,
Yeah, recently. Anything good?
I've been listening to Yersin. They released an album, let's see, how long ago? Not too long ago.
just
The
sniff this
Scape
out.
is Remorseless is the name of the album. I've been listening to a bunch of, and it's super good. It's super, super good. Toad Liquor just released an album that I've been listening to a lot of too. Back in the Hole, super, super good. And then honestly, I've been going back to Ripple Music. Last year, released a tribute to Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
just been digging that, man. It's just it's
That
so
was very
good. Yeah.
Oh, also, I listen to a lot of music outside the metal scene that really inspires me, like the Kilimanjaro Dark Jazz Ensemble.
Oh great, good
Um,
band, a good collective.
Yeah, really, really good. And Grills. I'm not sure if you know that they just
No,
dropped a
no,
new
no.
album. Check them out. It's also psychedelic music, really good.
Oh great, I love psych.
Yeah, and there was this band called Thanti Faksat. I don't
Okay.
know if I pronounced it right, but it's a black metal band, also like really experimental and psychedelic.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Thanatifax. Right?
Okay, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think I pronounced it.
I just
I butchered
saw
the
them live.
name.
I saw them live end of last year. They were fantastic.
I think my best friend got tickets for us, so I'm going to see them as well. Yeah,
Oh great, you'll love it. It's great
Yeah.
live. Like the atmosphere really carries.
nice. Looking forward. And
And I want
Swans.
to ask
You guys know Swans? If you
Yeah, I
ever
love
listened to
Swans.
Swans?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of good records. Yeah.
For
I
sure.
feel like they just released something too, or maybe re-released something.
I think they released something. I just saw it like where did I Swans.
Swans
like-
is kind of like Melvin's a little bit because they have so many albums and like some are fantastic and some are like nothing's bad. It's just some are way better than others.
Yeah, they just have their phases, and I like the phase
Yeah.
where they
It
went
was-
through during like To Be Kind was bizarre.
They had some weird
Yeah.
stuff going on for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like that kind of music, like I already know a lot of black metal, so I think I unconsciously make use of my knowledge of black metal. But I think that what I really try to put in my music um, with full conscience is these bands from outside the metal scene, like Swans and the Kilimanjaro Dark Jazz Ensemble and other similar stuff, and Grills.
That's
To
great.
yeah to yeah broaden the influences that you can put into music.
I
Like
think it's good to
Swans
have.
is really hypnotic, you know.
Definitely, definitely. It's like trancey.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really good to have a broad range of taste to listen to because it influences you in different ways. Like outside of metal, I have a non-profit digital record label that does all psychedelic and folk and reggae and like
Some electronic.
yeah, electronic. Yeah, I got electronic in there,
Yeah,
Afrobeat.
there's some
Yeah,
good stuff, man.
all kinds of
Awesome.
stuff. So
Sounds good.
it's nice to have like different sides of your like musical life, I guess.
Yeah, I agree, man.
So I just want to go back to Teitan for a second. I need to ask you, who did the album art?
That was Manuel Tinneman, and he is the I knew him because like I was searching for a artist, and I looked up a few of my favorite album covers, and then I saw one name coming back a lot of times that I didn't know yet, and he was behind Drought from Death by Omega. Um, and a lot of other great albums. But then, I looked him up, and he, like he was a Dutch guy, so I was like, oh, that's cool. And he did an exhibition at Roadburn, so I said, okay, I'm going to meet you over there, and we talked, and he did this work for me, and I told him about the concept of the album. And so he said, like, okay, I have to make something void-like and I have to use a lot of eyes. So make me a photo shoot with a lot of weird faces that you make, so I can use your eye in
That's
the
your eye?
painting. Yeah, that's my eye in the
Oh,
painting.
cool.
Cool.
Yeah. That was a
Did he go from a photograph, or did he paint it originally?
Yeah,
for
he
your
painted. Yeah. So he
that's
painted
cool.
freehand. It's not from a projection, but it's like he's like he's a veteran in artwork. So he has a lot of experience, and he just took the photo as a reference.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it had like a Death Spell Omega type of feel to it, so that makes total sense.
Yeah, and that's why Omega. I really have to separate the artist from the art there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they did such important work for
Right.
modern sounding avant-garde black metal. It's like
Dissonant black metal.
yeah,
They
the really
pioneered that.
dissonant stuff. Yeah,
It's tough because some people like you can not like them, which is fine. I understand why people wouldn't, but you can't like disregard their contribution to the scene.
yeah, agree. Yeah, but should we like actively promote a band that is so? Well, I'm not sure like how true any of it is, but it's like there's being said that they have like Nazi ideologies or sympathies, and
From what
for
I've
the
heard,
vocalist
it's just one
even
member.
worse. Yeah, the vocalist, right?
Yeah, just the vocalist, and they're kind of like on the last album, kind of working him out. Like,
oh, really?
They brought that other guy in on
from Marduk.
Yeah, from Marduk. But I mean, and Marduk's another band that's got its own controversy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So that
Marduk,
you have to separate the artist from the art, but when you do that, like that's what Omega is from the black metal perspective. It's like one of my biggest inspirations. That's what Omega and Dotheimsgard, those two together,
right?
Yeah,
I think it shows in the music for sure.
Yeah, I think that Aldran, especially like as a vocalist, that he did something that like no other vocalist did before, and now that he introduced that, slowly but surely there are like other vocalists picking it up, like also Forest of Stars. I'm not sure if you know that. Yeah. On the last album they did, like their vocalist also, made the psycho switch and sounded more like Aldran.
Have you
Yeah.
ever listened to a dude called Morgul?
Morgul. Yeah. Like with Minos Morgul.
Not Minas Morgul, but there's a guy just called Morgul, Morgal. Your work kind of reminds me
Oh,
of him in a way because he uses like a lot of weird industrial elements and like avant-garde stuff and sound bites, but it's like it's black metal. Yours is a lot rawer and a lot like harsher than his, but he has that weird just do whatever I want in black metal type of vibe.
yeah, nice. Do you mean Morgul with a U?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, like
Morgal.
yeah, I had like a album of them, Lost in Shadows Grey, like back in the end of the 90s, early 2000s. I listened to that
Right.
stuff a lot.
If you go later and you get to like Sketch of Supposed Murderer,
Yeah,
that one's fantastic, and that one's like super avant-garde.
nice. I have to check it out. Yeah.
The one after that's a little bit like melodic black metal type of thing, a little more accessible. I think Sketch of Supposed Murderer is a better album.
Awesome.
So I know that you have a bunch of other projects that you're a member of. Some are like currently active, some are previously active. But there was one that you just released an album with this year. I hope I'm saying it right. Is it Stuporous?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like what happened is that I moved in my current house. And before that, I just started producing, but moving into this house made it really easy for me to produce every minute of the day. So also, like, if I want to perform at 3 at night, I can do it. And that's like, I have my studio in my living room. My living room is basically my studio. And then I was like way more available to start doing projects because I can record at home. I can do the mixing over here. And I started Teitan. I already played in Cthulhuminati. That's my main band. But then I was, like during the Corona pandemic, I met a lot of guys on a Facebook group. And we started some studio projects, and then it really became like a magician group. So we started the Zwottekring, and that's it's a collective of musicians that all work together. Some of them are getting a role on the new Teitan album, so I'm going to make use of them. Like Izzy, that also plays on Stuporous. He plays horns and brass instruments. So
Nice.
yeah,
Right.
he already did some records for my new album, so new recordings. And that's the story. So yeah, and it's like I don't know if you know any of these bands, also like The Color of Rain and Scavet and Meslamte, and it's all black metal, but a lot of them is like really more experimental or symphonic or that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. And are you all signed to Void Wanderer Productions with all of these releases, or is it just a couple of them?
Well, most of them, because it's like the owner of that label is also part of the Zwottekring. But some projects are releasing through other labels, and Void Wanderer cooperates with War Productions and Onism Productions a lot. And I also release my music through Onism and Void Wanderer at the same time. Yeah.
Onism has some great stuff on it.
Yeah. I don't know if you know Grey Aura.
What was it? Sorry.
Grey Aura.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. The drummer from Cthulhuminati, Seth, he was originally from Severe Torture, and he then came to us, and now he also plays at Grey Aura, a really cool avant-garde and experimental band as well.
Oh wow, okay, I haven't heard of them. I have to check them out.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, and Onism is from the UK, so that's
right.
Yeah, for us it's easier to also approach the scene over there, because it's like with sending albums to the UK right now is such a
ever since Brexit. I've heard a lot of labels lost a lot of money when that happened.
I can imagine, yeah. And not only the labels.
The artists, everyone, yeah. And then you had another one that you released recently as well called Oceans Above from your project Color of Rain.
Yeah. I'm really glad with that project. It's also, I liked working with Florgus. He also drums for Stuporous and other instruments as well. And he's such a nice guy to work with. And Gerhans, the guitar player from The Color of Rain, is also like, he's the sweetest guy ever. Like he's so cool. So it's like there was it was a match made in heaven, and it was really nice to work together. And now we recorded another EP that's going to be released as a split with another band. I think somewhere this summer. And it's going to be released on vinyl. So we had to wait the queue out.
Jeez. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. Now, the thing is like the queue is so long because I feel like there's some smaller pressing places popping up and this and that. Like, are there more options and they're just more expensive, or is it just like there's only a couple places doing this and they're just so backed up?
Yeah, that's the problem. There's only like a few places in Europe where we can press. There's like a few in Asia. I'm not doing the orders myself, so I'm not too familiar with how it exactly works. But I think that there are like a lot of companies that will sell you vinyls that like where you can press them, but they are just like a middleman. So the actual factories where they can press vinyl are really limited.
Okay.
That's a global issue. There's just the thing is, they used to be like so readily available back in the days when vinyl was originally popular, and then vinyl, everyone thought it was dead, so they shut all of them down. And now vinyl's back. They haven't reopened a bunch of these factories.
Yeah, but the question is it here to stay? Because like, if people believe that, then entrepreneurs do your thing. Step into the gaping hole.
Right.
Right.
Start manufacturing.
Well, I think too, vinyl is being used in other places as well. It's like getting wrapped around houses and spots. It's there's a major construction boom and stuff. Things are getting replaced. That takes, like think about like a hurricane that destroys part of a city or a town, and then they have to rebuild all that stuff. But it takes a while for everything to get built back up. That's why there was like a major lumber boom, like you had that going on. Plus people had all this COVID time and they just started doing all these home projects, let's build a deck. Oh, let's do that, And so all that stuff kind of compiles up, and that also, takes a lot of like plastics and like the vinyl.
Yeah.
So like raw material, I think, is just also part of it too,
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm not sure what the problem is, and I don't play vinyl myself, so I'm like it's a problem for the for the label.
Yeah, we gotta start making sacrifices to the algorithm gods and the vinyl gods.
Exactly. I, to be honest, I'm not too concerned with anything. I like to make music, and obviously I love it to be released, but it's like that's why I give it out of hands. I released some stuff myself earlier on, and it's really difficult to do like a proper promotional campaign.
Distribution too.
Yeah. Sorry?
Distribution as well as like the whole other side that you have to think of.
Yeah. Yeah, so going to the post office that many times, and no, it was like I hated it. So I'm really glad. Like that's for me the biggest part, to be connected to a label. That's like when I finish a record, I send it to the label and they deal with the rest.
Right. Definitely. Brendan, I know you had some sort of more localized questions.
Yeah, I had some of those for sure. Well, we were talking before we were recording about music, live venues and whatnot. And you're a studio band, but I'm certain that you have to get out there and see some live music. So what's your favorite spot to go see bands come through?
Yeah, I've got a few of them. I'm not
Yeah,
like
let's do it.
I'm not like a really huge festival and concert goer, but I do visit my favorite bands from time to time. And when I just want to go out and I don't care what am I going to see, then I'm going to Baruch here in Rotterdam, so I can do it by my bicycle. And they play a lot of awesome death metal and black metal bands from all over the world.
Awesome.
And a lot of times when I buy tickets for my favorite bands, I see them in Utrecht or at the Tivoli Theater. And of course, the 013, like 013. It's a stage in Tilburg where they have like a lot of awesome shows. And every year there's Roadburn Festival.
Nice.
And that's where I discover a lot of new music because it's always experimental. They had like a lot of stoner and doom back in the days, and then they added more black metal, and then it got way out of hand, and now it's like with indie artists and folk and even electronic things, and like everything has this weird edge. Everything is like a little bit off or psychotic, or so it's a really cool festival.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I really want to go to that. I've seen a lot of bands I love play that.
Yeah, man. It's like I keep seeing like I'll be like, oh my god, dude, you see this lineup? And then I'm like, oh, it's so far away. You know?
Yeah, I can imagine. But we do have visitors from like Indonesia and Canada, and like people come from everywhere to see Roadburn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon and I have Maryland Death Fest coming up in May.
Yep.
So nice. Do you live in the US then right now?
I do, yeah. I'm not from the US, but I live in California.
Ah, okay, nice. Maryland Death Fest, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast.
You're closer to him.
Oh, yeah.
It's like an hour and a half flight for me, or like maybe like a 4.5, 6 hour drive, maybe.
Ah, cool. Okay.
So I fly down. I'm not trying to drive in the city of Bmore. It's a pain in the ass.
There's a lot more grindcore and black metal this year, though, than there was at the previous one. It's like it's more balanced.
It's a little more diversified.
I know the name. There's like a lot of people that I know that went there, and I think I see pictures and lineups coming by at Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, last year, because they had the pandemic for a couple of years, so it didn't happen, was like an all-stars.
Yeah, they had to take a break.
Stacked lineup. It was just like 90s heavy hitters. Just so many bands from the 80s and 90s that were like massive names.
Yeah. Nowadays, this one seems to have a decent mix, though. You know, there's a lot newer stuff too, which is great because, you know, and it's not like they're kicking out the old bands and stuff like that, but like there's a lot of new bands or newer bands that, you know, that are really fucking good. And it's thanks to those other bands, you know.
As a black metal fan, you'd appreciate the last year we went. They had Tom G. Warrior did 2 sets.
Yeah,
and one was purely playing 80s Hellhammer stuff, and one was playing Triptychon. And that was awesome.
I can only imagine. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Brendan, I derailed it again, but I'll let you carry
on.
No,
you're good. You're good. So we got some venues there. What about, have you been to the Goat or the vegan junk food bar?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of my go-to places.
Yeah,
I'm a vegan myself.
Okay, all right.
So yeah, vegan junk food bar is like.
It looked pretty good. Like I was checking it out, and I was like, "Wow, that's actually kind of neat." Because like usually when you think of vegan food, it's like around here it depends. You know, it's like much more traditional, and it's like it's going to be like a wrap or like some kind of like I don't know, bread sandwich kind of deal. You know what I mean? Where it's that stuff all looked pretty cool. You know.
Well, here in Europe and especially in the Netherlands, we have a really nice vegan culture already. So there's like here in Rotterdam, we have like vegan pizza bars, vegan junk food bars. There's even like a few venues that are directly attached to like vegan snack food and that kind of stuff. And there's like a lot of awesome burgers, tapas restaurants, but like nothing beats a good meal at home. Just with my girl. Like,
Yeah.
I can cook all these chefs out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I used to be a chef professionally, and then after COVID killed it up and flipped my life upside down, I got into the brewing industry. But now now I love to come home and make food. I used to hate come home, and like when I was chefing, I
Of
used to, like,
course,
it was
yeah.
the last thing I wanted to do is like make food,
Yeah.
the family and all that, and it was just like, I was like, come on, I just spent like 10 hours in over communication cooking hell. Now I'm like, can I just relax?
Oh,
Now I
yeah.
got my own food.
Yeah.
And then I just like be lazy about it because I was just like, whatever,
Yeah.
Now I love doing it. It's great. I make all kinds of good stuff, and it's just taken with so much care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like I do love to cook. It's something that's really mindful, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
really nice to make your
Definitely.
own food. Like, yeah.
What's your favorite thing to make?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I have like a few things that if I really want to make something really awesome, there's like a few directions that I go, and I divide it by kitchen. So I have like my Japanese stuff. So like
Okay.
I make my own teriyaki with mushrooms and mushroom soup and that kind of stuff, and breaded
Nice.
tofus, and I like the Turkish cuisine. So then I make like a bowl with couscous and like some fake chicken or mushrooms that I seasoned like a Turkish chicken.
Yep.
Stuff.
Yep.
And then
There's
I add like
some cool,
vegetables and lemon and mint and pomegranate, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
some really cool mushrooms that like. I love mushrooms because they're like flavor sponges.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just
Mushrooms
like,
are great.
yeah. I love like I'll do it all the
Underrated.
time. My wife hates them, but like I do it. I'll just take the
Hates
button
mushrooms?
mushrooms and just like the white mushroom or whatever, and then I'll saute it until they get like most of the liquid out, and then I'll just take like a little vinegar, some garlic, and some like little bit of spices, and then just basically like let it soak in that and like marinate the mushrooms essentially, and then I'll eat them cold.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll do
just
that
like a
too.
snack.
I love that. Like I could just cook like a mushroom medley in butter and garlic and just eat that.
Or even
that
like
goes
buttered
hard.
garlic with like a little Italian dressing or something like that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I need some seasoning.
boom.
Yeah, I do like I do them like in a little bit of olive oil, and all the liquid needs to get out, so they get like really small and dark, and then
Yes, they have to
I
be
just
dark.
add some raw garlic and some sea salt and some thyme, and I'm done. Like, that's a snack. That's a late night snack. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so now we went from black metal to vegan cooking. Nice.
Yeah.
This is
my life, man. This is my life.
this is
We just need to cover philosophy and psychiatry, and then maybe
Right.
and then
all right.
we're
That's
done.
that's the next section. Next section.
Yep.
Awesome.
We can do
Okay,
that.
Bring it on.
And then, so locally too, I wanted to ask about the Erasmus Bridge.
Yeah. I cross that one with my bicycle every day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it's like, I don't know, it's like one of the world's coolest bridges kind of dealies, and it's just like, it's kind of cool. I didn't know if there was like a whole thing to it, or like why it happened, or it was just happens to be there.
Well, like Rotterdam is divided by the Maas, and so there's like a northern part of Rotterdam and a southern part of Rotterdam, and like everything to do is in the northern part. So the northern part is like where the entire center is, and all the big theaters and the shopping malls and that kind of stuff. And it's like a really modern, developed city, and like the southern parts are more that's like, I work there, and it's not for nothing. I work in psychiatry, and sometimes it feels like it's a open air psychiatric facility. So it's there's like a lot of poverty, and it's so different from the northern parts of Rotterdam. And what they try to do is to connect them more, so that it's easier to drive with the car or with the tram or with the metro.
Mhm.
And go by from the southern part. So they're trying to fix the southern parts by make it more accessible to work there. So yeah, they I think that like in the 90s or something they built the Erasmus Bridge, and but
Gotcha.
they're like at this moment we have like three bridges and 4 tunnels or something, and it's getting better a little bit. Yeah,
Nice.
so
Yeah,
it
no, it's
works.
super cool. Yeah, it's super inviting, at least it looks so. And then,
And I enjoy it every day. I'm like a tourist in my own city. When I go
yeah, oh, that's so
with
cool.
my bicycle over the Erasmus Bridge, it's like a really nice view, and I can enjoy it. And I live
Yeah, no,
in
it's
Rotterdam
sweet,
forever. Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
the massive like lookout tower there and whatnot. It's a really cool looking city, It's really
yeah, yeah. I love
it's
Rotterdam.
definitely
Yeah,
yeah, it's cool. Does it have a lot of like the old style historical kind of stuff still kicking around, or is it kind of
no, like Rotterdam was bombed during the Second World War. So like,
right? Well, that's what I'm asking. I guess is there anything left that's kind of like
yeah,
intact there?
there's one little place called historic Delfshaven. It's a
Yeah.
part in the western part of Rotterdam, and that's the only place where you really see like the Amsterdam style old old homes and streets. But it's like a really small part, but
Hmm.
it's really awesome to see. But it's also like the benefits of that they had to rebuild Rotterdam on its entirely is that it's like a really modern city, so it's really easy. There's not a lot of traffic problems like they have in Amsterdam or
Hmm.
The Hague. So yeah, it's convenient as well that they had to build it up altogether.
Yeah, that's cool. And then the last question I have about is the cube houses.
They suck. Yeah.
It looks kind of cool from outside, but like,
No, they're lame. They're just yellow cubes. It's like I
uh,
don't see the big deal. Like they're ugly as fuck, And it's just like 30 cubic houses, and like people from China are coming especially for those weird things.
it's like they're all tilted and whatnot, and you're just like,
Yeah, but that's
It's
like okay.
weird.
Then you come there and you see like some tilted houses, like whoa, cool. And then what? Like.
It looks like if you're like approaching them from the front, it looks like they're all looking at you, like looking down at you.
yeah,
I think you should smoke a little bit less weed.
Yeah.
The houses are looking at me, man.
these houses are paranoid, man.
What do they want from me?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. No, nice that you had a few questions about Rotterdam. I really love this place. I traveled a lot, and there's so much about Europe also to love. And I recently was in Cape Town for 5 weeks, and it's also like
Oh,
a magical place. So I can like
it is.
appreciate all these countries for their own thing. Like, and also I
Yeah, of
really
course.
love Romania. Romania is such a beautiful country. But like what traveling has learned me is that like the Netherlands are a really cool place as well. I started
Hmm.
to love the Netherlands more because of traveling, not because I hated other countries, because I love a lot of countries, but they
Of course.
made me more sensitive for what makes the Netherlands, And
No,
I do
definitely.
appreciate that. I'm not like
Yeah, you're part of that, Yeah,
yeah,
it's sweet.
yeah. I'm not like patriotic in that way because I have a lot of critiques on Dutch politics
Of
and
course.
Dutch culture and mentality as well. But like, it's a cool country to live. Yeah.
I'm originally from South Africa, actually.
Oh, you do? Where
Yeah,
from?
yeah. I'm from Durban on the East Coast.
Okay, cool.
But Cape
Nice.
Town, you're right.
Yeah, I was in Cape Town and I stayed over in Camps Bay.
Okay, Cape Town's fantastic. Like one of the coolest places on earth, in my opinion.
It's really cool, and it's still a little bit like the Wild West, Like
Yeah.
everything is possible, and
Yeah.
yeah, I had like a few tattoo sessions done over there, and like were
Nice.
full day sessions. So
Nice.
I talked a lot with my tattoo artist, and it's such a lot of cool stories from business owners over there, and the things that are possible over there are like really cool.
Yeah, if you can get financially comfortable there, you can live a pretty crazy life in
Yeah,
Cape Town.
yeah. If I sell my apartment over here, then I can buy like a giant mansion with a
Yeah, the
with a
exchange
swimming
rate, the exchange
pool
rate
and
would definitely help you.
yeah, and then I would still keep money in my pocket, like to spend over there. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's different as well because it's not as dangerous as other parts of South Africa. Like Johannesburg's a very different feeling to Cape
yeah,
Town.
yeah. Yeah, Cape Town. It's really really modern. Yeah, especially if you know where to live and what to do. Then yeah, nice.
So we're currently coming up on time. So I had this question I ask everyone that comes on the show.
Mhm.
Going to put you on the spot very slightly here, which is if you were stranded on a desert island and all you had was a solar-powered Discman and 3 CDs to listen to until you got rescued on repeat, what albums would you want to have?
Oh fuck, man. Woo, that's a really tough one.
It is.
Okay, like okay, it's hypothetical, so I'm gonna make that let it make that easier for me. But I think Aumbra Omega from Dotheimsgard,
Okay.
Tales from the Inexpressible from Spongel.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's
No.
psychedelic. It's from the Goa psytrance scene, but it's a band actually with a drummer and a guitar player, synthesizers, female vocals, and
Nice.
flutes and everything. It's like really, really creative and cool.
Okay.
So those two, and then oh man, this is tough. Like maybe like Midian from Cradle of Filth or something completely different. I'm not sure. Maybe The Origin of Symmetry from Muse.
Interesting. I like that
Oh,
album.
yeah. Someone else mentioned Muse not too long ago as
Yeah.
well. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
really?
what it was.
it's only that album for me. Like that album,
Yeah.
it's like from start to end, it's amazing. Like there's a feel in it, something really frustrated and deeply emotional and like really theatrical in an emotional way. That
Hmm.
that really speaks to me. I like that.
Their early stuff was so good, and the latest stuff is so trash. The last few albums they've done have been terrible.
Yep. Yeah, I can't explain how that happened. Maybe that's what actual fame does to you. I'm not sure.
Ever since that song "Supermassive Black Hole" blew up, they haven't been the same.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Because everything up to that album was good. Even that album had a lot of really good songs on it.
Well, to be honest, I mostly just like The Origin of Symmetry. The rest is like it's from okay to bad for me personally. Yeah. Yeah, but like The Origin of Symmetry would be like on my maybe list for the deserted island thing.
Fair.
Yeah, but it has to battle with weird albums like Midian from Cradle of Filth or something from the Kilimanjaro Dark Jazz Ensemble.
Nice. That would be a vibe for a desert island, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a summer music. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I hope I hope it doesn't rain on the fucking island all day. Yeah.
Yeah, you're the first person to mention weather, so I actually don't know in this scenario, and I have to think deeper. But
It depends. If it rains, then you play something totally different than when it's like really
Yeah,
sunny. Or
exactly.
when it's freezing, like it's a Russian island, like and you're like in an igloo. Yeah. So that's a different story. What do you play? I play Immortal then.
Yes, I can tell you are into philosophy, as you said.
It's awesome.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And the deserted island thing is quite a cool metaphor from Albert Camus, one of my favorite philosophers. He was what other people say of them is that he was the starter of absurdism, and
Okay.
it's about like there was like a group of expeditioners, and they ended up on a deserted island, in a wintry deserted island, like somewhere on the North Pole or somewhere close. And their stuff broke down, and they didn't know if they would make it. It was like at the early 20th century. And then one of them or two of them, they went out to find help to see if they could reach a city or anything. So, and the rest had to wait it out over there. And they didn't know if the shit is going to work out and if they would be saved and if they would live for long and like what was going to happen. And they kept a journal, and strange enough, they had like the best time of their lives over there. So they were like, it was like they danced and they made plays, and they went really deep with each other because they were like aware of the situation, that it was like bizarre and that you don't know what the fuck is going to happen, if you're going to be saved. And the best way to deal with that is to make the best time of your life, like to connect with people and to like dance on the edge of insanity, of like you don't, it's like a weird situation, you know. And that's like is parallel to how we see life. It's like a extension of existentialism, and it's like you don't know what there is. Like there's probably not like a god as the Christians and the Muslims picture it, but like who knows? Like you don't know, and you're probably not going to find out during this life. So
Right.
as an absurdist, it's like, well, I'm just going to dye my dick blue and see the world and have the best fucking time and enjoy every fucking single second. And like, it's like there was one guy and he said it at best. He was like, he doesn't just stare in the abyss. He's going to make sure that he makes uncomfortable eye contact with it. It's like, it's enjoying the weirdness. It's not just enjoying life. It's like what a lot of people do that don't think a lot about life. They just enjoy life with a live, laugh, love mentality and whatever. It's like, it's not just enjoying life. It's like really going deep into what the fuck it is and understand how absurd and bizarre it is and enjoy that. Like it's really tapping into the weirdness of this universe.
People don't find appreciation in like the stranger moments in life. Like those make them uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Expect the unexpected.
I love like those situations because I always think about it later as like that's a great memory that I have for the rest of my life, even though at the time it was uncomfortable.
Yeah. All right, so we're all gonna have to plan a mushroom trip.
Exactly. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, awesome. I think that like mushrooms and like psychedelics in general had like a really good influence on music as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely inspired me. Like.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And philosophy in general as well. But I think that I really got into philosophy thanks to psychedelics as well.
Yeah. It makes you more in the moment.
Yeah. And it makes you look at things from a really different perspective. I think that like it already makes your brain a little bit more it's easier to make new neural paths, so you can do things that you know quite good and then approach it from a completely different angle.
Right. You're like, oh man, I always do this way, and then it's like, what if I tried from the middle, you know? And you're like, whoa, you know, and then bam, something new entirely rippled out from that, you know?
Yeah, and that's why it's really good for creative processes as well. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking like microdosing, like not like going on full blown like.
No. I'm talking about macro dosing, like like a huge dose, like take 200 milligrams, man. Just go for it.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, well, I'm not endorsing people to do drugs.
No, but I would definitely go on an island with you.
Nice. That will make it more bearable, like not being alone.
And having psychedelics.
Yeah. Good music choices. Would be all right.
Yeah, I think Dark Jazz and Kilimanjaro, Dark Jazz Ensemble stays then if we're doing psychedelics.
Okay.
That's a good fit.
Well, we have a good playlist then already for Deserted Island. Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
So just before we wrap up, if people want to follow you on social media or listen to your music or buy your music, what are the best places to do all of that?
Well, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, obviously, The Black Titan. And I think that all the music is for sale at Void Wanderer Productions. Be sure to check them out. They have a lot of good music under how do you call that? In stock. So be sure to check that out.
Nice.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was really great chatting with you.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah, so, thanks again for the invitation.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Yeah,
Pleasure
if you
to
do
talk.
some more projects in the future and you want to come back on and talk about them, just let us know. Happy to have you back.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, man.
Okay, no worries. And for everyone listening at home, thanks for tuning in. We'll have another guest next week.